It's La Dolce Vita in electric form. It's the Fiat 500e, a small electric vehicle, and it's what I'm looking at next on the latest Novak report review, so stick around. So in doing this review of the Fiat 500e, it's probably important to help by getting a framework of what this is and what it's not. This Fiat 500e, in Stellantis' words, is the first fully electric vehicle from them in North America. I mean, there's others are coming. You've got your, your Charger electric, but this is what they say is the first. And it also seems weird because some of you will know that there was a Fiat 500 electric in the previous generation model. However, that was really a compliance car. It was made in Mexico. It was in very, very limited distribution. I mean, California, and I don't know much beyond that. So it really wasn't something that was seen as a regular model in their lineup. This Fiat 500e was designed in Torino. It was made in Torino, Italy. It is, meant for global distribution. However, the specs that I'll talk about here are North American specific, because how they've designed and spec this 500e for North America is not the same as they would have it in Europe and some other markets. So in terms of some of the specifics and parameters with respect to its size and power, what we're looking at here is a front-wheel drive, a single motor variant that has a 42 kilowatt hour battery that is equipped to an 87 kilowatt hour motor, which in its end puts out only 117 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. It's said to have a 0 to 60 time of 8.5 seconds. So, take that for what you will. You also wouldn't expect this to be going especially far in terms of EV-only range with the size of battery it is. Again, this idea of a city car. But the posted EV-only range for this 500e is 240 kilometers or 149 miles. Now, I'm driving this at the end of November, beginning of December, so it's on the edge of winter time, and typically you do expect to see some range loss in that. I just charged it up before driving now to 100%, and I got to 225 kilometers of estimated range. So not too bad in terms of any loss due to cold. It's not very cold today, maybe just around the freezing mark, but that's what we're seeing in terms of posted range. This may not be able to go far, but of course sometimes you might need it to. And how is it for charging? The good news is this does have the ability for a DC fast charging at 85 kilowatts, and the published material says you'll get up to 80% in about 35 minutes. For level 2 charging, you're looking at around 3 hours or so, and it even can do 110. I think it's about 9 hours to get to that point. And that's one of these things. This is the kind of vehicle where, with a small battery, and if it's more city-oriented, you might not need to invest in, say, a home charger if you just want to plug it in. I mean, that's one of these things that it depends upon your usage and your comfort level. But, some of the larger batteries, some of the other vehicles with, more range, you certainly wouldn't want to rely on a 110 only. But here, it might work. As for drive experience, I mean, you really shouldn't expect a lot with this. I mean, here I am driving on the highway, and, it's kind of a breezy, noisy situation. I don't know if you can hear it in the mic, and I'm really not going very fast, but I'm managing. There's no sport mode, as you would not expect to see. They have 3 drive modes, however. Normal, which is what most people would be in. However, they have what's called range mode. And in range mode, that's where it employs one-pedal driving. And then they have something interesting called Sherpa mode. And that's a very unique situation where Sherpa mode, as they say, like the Sherpa guides in the Everest who will help you to be safe and secure in getting your way to the top or whatever it is, the Sherpa mode is where they really dial it back. In fact, if you really need to get to your destination, if you're short on range, if you're not worried, in Sherpa mode, it actually limits you to only 50 miles an hour, 80 kilometers an hour. It pulls down some of the battery output in the motor, I think down to 57 from 87. And, it supposedly extends your range. It's interesting. I mean, it says a lot about the vehicle if you get a special mode that says, yo, we're going to dial it back, but get you there. I think it's also important to sort of clarify really how would you categorize this as an EV? Because I think if we give it the wrong kind of comparison framework to work with, you're going to, have a good chance of maybe assessing this in the way that you shouldn't. This really is designed to be what the 500 was in gas version in Europe. It's a city car. It is not comparing itself against, Ioniq 5s. It's not comparing itself against a Model 3 or a Mustang Mach-E or any of the other sort of mainline EVs that are trying to prove themselves as, hitting all the benchmarks North America wants. This is that very small urban car. It's not overly powerful. It's not overly capable of long range. And there is a marketplace that I think exists, and we're seeing more of a need or a demand for it, because we have a lot of high-end EVs. We've got more glut in the sort of mid-size, but there still is that calling for that really micro EV, when this is really the first of them. We're going to see others coming. We've heard about the Kia EV2 or EV3, what is there, other micro ones, and even VinFast talked about having their VF3, this new micro EV with limited size and range coming around. And this is what this 500e is about. Now, of course, part of the other appeal to a vehicle like this is going to be the price. It is not meant to be a prohibitively priced vehicle. Canadian pricing starts at just under $40,000 and around $34,000 in the US. So, and if you qualify for any sort of credits or rebates, it gets even more into the low price range. So, for a limited size offering of power and range, you're not going to get a high price. Now, even though we're talking a price that is designed to say, look, this is an economy car, it's a city EV, I think there's just still some expectations that I would want, and I'm not getting in this vehicle, that annoy me a little bit. Now, part of this might be just the fact that where I live, we're here in Canada, and we Canadians really have come to love certain things. This 500e does have heated seats, but it's just one setting. It's like on or off. And I got to tell you, I got to be honest, with these fabric seats, which actually are made from recycled materials, that one level is pretty darn intense. I think they call it like broil mode, because I swear it's only a couple of minutes and I think I might have first degree burns on my rumpus. It's really intense, to the point that I can't really keep it on very long, and it's kind of not what I want. I would love to have that sort of high and low mode, or different set of settings, which is very common. It also doesn't have heated steering wheels, but we have economy cars that have heated steering, so this shouldn't be one of these things, and I don't think it's too much of a power draw. There's lots of EVs that have that, so I'm not sure why it's not here, and most of the year I won't notice it, but now when I'm driving as it's getting below freezing, I kind of wanted to see a heated steering wheel. Other sort of limitations, again, this is a very small car. So, for two adults back there, it's a four-seater. If you are all large people, don't expect to feel comfortable. And in terms of cargo space, it's small. You do have a recess below, and, you can fold down the seats with some, it doesn't go full flat. But again, these are considerations you need to factor in. Is this really the right car for you? There are things that are nice in here that, once upon a time weren't found in sort of starter cars. There's a nice center information screen here, digital, and again, there's lots of multifunction in there. There's a lot of good information and readouts on your EV. You do have wireless Android and Apple CarPlay connectivity. There are USB ports throughout here. You do have some additional storage inside. There's a center little storage cubby in here and some in the doors. So, there's a bit of flexibility of space. The information screen for the driver information is LED digital, and you do have a fair amount of versatility and information available there. So I will give it that. Would I say that this 500e is something that's for me? No, I don't think this is my choice. My style or my needs for range and for, passenger capacity is different. So it wouldn't be something I would take. But at the same time, there are individuals and there are people out there who, love that small city car. They don't do a lot of driving, and they are concerned about, not wanting to have a gas car. So this works. And this could also work as a great second vehicle in a family, whether it's a second EV or just the one and only. So I can see that there is appeal for this. It's a cute looking car. I know there's an Abarth version that is out there, although from what I hear, it's really not as powerful, I think, as this could be. This really could work well if you really pumped up an Abarth and put something a little more powerful. Like, this could be a little pocket rocket that people would go nuts over. I don't think what I hear so far, the Abarth, in terms of performance that I think heard in Europe, is going to meet that need. But you know, there is potential for this vehicle, just right now it's kind of limited. So again, I think the real critical thing here is in evaluating the 500e, make sure you have the right expectations. As a city car with, you know, not a lot of power and not a lot of range, it's great. And for economic purposes, if you want more, well, go somewhere else. But that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know. Send me a comment. Put a like out there. Share it with others. And if you're not subscribed to the Novak Report, please consider doing so. And if you are subscribed, remember, ring that bell so that you're notified every time I upload something new. That's it for my look at the Fiat 500e. I'm Eric Novak. Thanks for watching.